Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to discuss about Devika AI and how we can use in our local missions for our business needs or for our testing requirements. So, just to introduce, Devika AI is an Indian AI software engineer, just like Devin AI. Okay, so Devin AI and Devika AI represent two fascinating sides of the AI landscape. So if you want to compare it with these two, specialization versus versatility. So Devin remains a powerful code generator, and it excels at swiftly crafting code snippets based on specific instructions. So Devika, on the other hand, takes holistic approach. It positions itself as an AI pair programmer, assisting throughout the entire development process, from planning and strategization to debugging and troubleshooting. So Devika is there every step of the way. And if you consider, Devin focuses primarily on raw code generator, whereas Devika values broader functionality, embraces an open source approach, and adapts to change requirements. Okay, so if you look at, this is the open source code which has been developed by the Indian organization which is Station.ai. They have introduced Devika AI, which is uh, the Indian AI software engineer. So let's deep dive into this, how we can utilize in our system and how we can configure. There are some prerequisites which we need to follow to configure on our local machines. Okay, so this is the GitHub code repository where we can get this code into our local machines and then work on it. Okay, so you can see the system architecture, quick start guides, and all of this installation guides. Everything can be seen in our local machines. I mean, in this Git repository, and can be configured in our local machines. So for this, if you look at this website, there are some prerequisites which you need to have on your local machines. If you want to install Devika locally on your machine, you need to have a Python 3.7 or higher, Node.js version, a JavaScript runtime, and Git. So let's try to configure this in our local machines by following these steps, and I may use some additional steps as well to work as expected because of the configurations depends on the operating systems. Okay. Okay, so let's see the demo how we can use Devika AI in our local missions. So I have followed all of these steps, and you might see some of the steps which are listed here may go wrong, where you need to troubleshoot whether it is a Windows mission or it is a Linux mission, whatever that you are using for your lab. Now, let me launch a Visual Studio Code here, and you can see I have already cloned using this git clone command. So let me just execute that command again and see what we can get out of it. So this is the one. So I'm not going to execute it because I have already cloned it. If you want, you have to use this command and to clone that binaries into your local PC. Okay. Since I have already cloned, I'm not going to use this one. Okay. Now, as part of this next step, I have already installed Conda binaries, which is like Python binaries, which is included in Anaconda. So if I look at, I have downloaded this binaries, Anaconda download, and here using this, whether it is a Windows, Mac, or any other machines, you can download and install. So the reason I have installed here is this has got almost all the packages which are required for Python, or whichever has got dependencies, it has got all the dependencies. Once you download this and install, you will be able to work as expected without any issues. So here you'll not be able to see that count on this, but yeah, that's recommended to use to have a better understanding or better uh, dependency configuration, whichever is required for this Devika AI. So I have already installed it, so I'm not going to install it manually again. Now after this, I'm going to activate Devika. Since I have already installed, here I have already uh, executed this command as well. Now you can see that I have activated this Devika AI. So after that, you have to install all the requirements whichever is needed as part of this. So these are the requirements which needs to be installed in your local PC, wherever that you are going to use this one. So for that, I'm going to use pip install -or requirements.txt. So let's see. You might see some difference what I'm using here in this demo and when you compare it with the steps that are there on the website. So I'm navigating to this folder cd space Devika, which is the clone binaries which I have executed using git clone. I'm going there and then I'm going to use this pip install requirements.txt. So as soon as I execute that, it is going to see here. Since I have already installed, it is saying that requirement already satisfied. Okay, so which means I no need to install any of the binaries again. So it will take some time as it has got multiple dependencies which you need to install on your local PC. So to avoid the delay, I have already executed, and which is why you are seeing a requirement already satisfied, which means these binaries, whatever that has got dependencies, is already installed on this machine. So you can see all the requirements are satisfied. Now, especially in Windows, you have to download node.js from the internet and you have to install it for npm configuration. So if I look at this setup file, where is that? Yeah, setup.sh, there are some requirements where you need to configure. So this is a playwright, which is a kind of JavaScript oriented dependencies which you need to configure. And you have to install all of the dependencies for JSON scripts. And then you have to install this one install. Now, let's see. Let me clear this one. And I'll go with this. Yeah. So I have already downloaded node.js for Windows. If you want, you can search on the internet node.js for Windows and you can download this. This is the JavaScript configuration which you can install in your machine. So this is needed. Sometimes if it is already there on your machine, you may not be needing this software. Okay. So for me, it was not there. I have downloaded and installed. Whereas if you're working in Mac or any other boxes, by default, it will be there on the machines. Since I'm using Windows here, it was not there. I have downloaded node.js and installed using this commands. So after that node.js installation, I have used this package, which is this npm and playwright at latest. So this is going to download the latest version of the playwright, which is the JavaScript dependencies again. And here you can see, always choose this TypeScript, just press enter, then false. That's it. So by default, it will initialize and it will install the required dependencies which are needed for the JavaScript oriented uh, requirements. Okay. So here you can see there are 0 vulnerabilities and added 3 packages. So it is downloading the required browsers which are needed for this installation. Okay, so after this, we are going to install the dependencies as per this command. Okay, so let's see once we're done with this installation. So it will take a few seconds and then we'll install with this configuration. So meanwhile, If you compare it with Devin AI, Devika AI is also having the similar capabilities, and this is developed by Indian developers, which is the open source platform, and you can integrate it with a multiple AI language models. So which we are going to see in a bit, how we can use or how we can integrate it with the internet. Okay, so it is still installing, and you can see this sample config meanwhile while it gets installed. Okay, so these are the API keys which you can add to your Devika AI. So if you wanted to configure Google search engine for this AI software in it, yes, you can integrate with your API key. So there are different AI services which you can leverage: Cloud A, OpenAI, Gemini, Mistral, Grok, and Netlify. And also there are API endpoints which are there for the search engines directly. So you can use this Google APIs by default. So by default it is there. And if any customization is needed, we can use this API key. So which I'm going to show how we can generate this Google search API key, Google search Indian ID, and one of this API key just for our demo purposes. Okay. So now this is still getting installed. It is 90%. This is like sample.config. So we are not going to modify these endpoints or these API keys. This is just a sample file just for our reference. So we are going to modify here in this configuration file, config.toml, and we are going to add our real-time API keys, and then we can execute it. So as it is getting installed and it is taking time, let's try to add a Google search API key. So you have to log in with your Gmail account. Here I have already got developers.google.com, and using this URL, you can generate API key for your search engine. So I'll click on this get a key, and it will ask for a project that you wanted to configure. So you can give any name and then copy the key. So here I have already worked on one of the demo. So I'm going to create a new project instead of using the existing one. And here I'm going to configure, let's say, Devika AI demo. Okay, click on next, and it is trying to generate the key. As soon as it gets generated, we'll copy the key and add it to our configuration file. Okay, so let it load. I'll come back to this. Yeah, here it is. You're ready to start developing with custom search API. Show the key. So here I'm clicking on this done, and then so here I'm just going to this option again. Where is this? Let me see that Devika AI demo. For some reason it is not coming up.
That you get. Wait, guys, of mine.
Okay, so let's come back to this. Yes, still it is installing all the dependencies. When we have executed that a playwright install dependencies. Okay, so let me come back here. Where is that? Go on.
What's the point? We can do it.
Okay, here it is. So now I can see the Devika AI demo. Click on next, and here you'll find the key. So we can create it for temporary uses here and then show the key, copy it, and I'll come back to this configuration file. Okay, so as these dependencies are getting installed using this command, this playwright npm, and I also generated the config.toml API keys. So whereas if you look at official documentation, as part of this step 3, it is simply saying that configure the necessary API keys and settings within the config.tyml file according to your needs. Okay, so now let me add that search key which we have generated into this configuration.tyml file. So I'm going to replace this one with the actual key. Okay, and I also have one more option which we can have. So these are optional, right? So we can add it or you can ignore. So it depends how you're going to use your tool. So I'm going to add this Google search engine ID as well. How we can generate this key is using this programmable search engine .google.com. So even you can generate on your own by logging in to this with your Gmail account. So I'm going to add this and just provide, let's say, a Devika AI demo. And do you want to search only specific sites when that tool is trying to search? You can add only those sites. Otherwise, I will go with this search the entire web. Because when I'm trying to use that Devika AI for any information that it needs to generate for us based on the prompts that we give, whether it can search through the entire web or only from your specific URLs, you can add that. So I'm just giving searching the entire web. And also I'm going with image search and also the safe search. And I'm not a robot here. And then click on create. It's going to generate a programmable search engine API key that we can use. Okay. So new search engine has been created. Click on customize. And here it is, the search engine ID. So copy this. Now I'll go through this configuration file and paste it here. Similarly, if you have any licensed version of this OpenAI Gemini image tool where you can generate API keys, which you can integrate this Devika AI tool to that OpenAI services. Now, so I'm going with this Grok AI where I can generate API key and I can integrate with this Devika AI. Now here I've got grok.com which I have logged in. So which is a free version which you can try. If you wanted to have more and more capabilities, you can purchase a licensed AI integration API keys. Okay. So I'm going with this API keys. Just click on this playground on Grok cloud and it's going to give us a key. Okay. So here it is, API keys and create API key. So let's say Devika AI demo, submit, copy this and click on done, and I'll come back to this. And where is that group? Yeah, here it is. Okay, you can configure multiple API keys as well. Depends on the licenses that you have got. Okay, now I have configured Google search API key, Google search engine ID, and then group API key as well. So by the time the dependencies get installed, we have added this one. Now there are also few more dependencies. Right. So we have configured the Google search key, API key, and a Grok API key as well. And also we have installed some of the dependencies here using this a playwright at the latest. Now we will see. There are some commands which I'm executing extra in order to avoid the issues, especially in Windows, as the dependencies are not there already. So I'm going to execute this command and let's see what we are going to get out of this. Okay, this will also install some of the dependencies. As the dependencies are already there, it is not showing anything. Okay, now you need to install one configuration which is also a dependency for this one. Okay, so where you can see one is a a JavaScript runtime again, which you need to configure. So if it is not there already in your machine, you need to use a different commands. Okay. So let me show here. As I'm using Windows, you need to go to this, or you need to navigate to this cd space UI, which is there under a Devika folder. There is a folder called UI. You have to navigate to this folder, and then you have to execute this command, which is like PowerShell -c irm bun.sh/install.ps1. So this command is going to install the JavaScript runtime requirements which are needed for this Devika AI. Okay, so that command is not there in this list. So especially for Windows, you have to use this for the installation of Java runtime, which is bun for the Devika AI requirements. Since I have already installed, we can see the version. Okay, so I can just check bun ---- version, and you can see that 1.1.0 is the version which I have installed on this machine. Okay, so if you are using a Mac or any other machines, you can try with this command and just pasting this curl command, and the required binaries which are needed for Java runtime will be installed on that machine using this command. Okay, so I'm not executing this because it is not a Windows, sorry, it is not a Linux machine. Now, so we are going to run this tool. Before we run, we need to execute a JavaScript. Okay, so let me run this one, bun run dev. So this is there already in this. So I have already installed bun, and I'm going to use this Python script, and then you can run this bun run dev. Okay, so before I use this bun run dev, I need to install Python space devika.py. This is the script which you need to execute. This script is going to uh, execute based on the configuration that we have given, and the dependencies that is needed, which is already installed. So let's see. Let's execute this one. And for that, I have to come back out of that devika.ui. So here I have to give python space devika.py. Okay, just execute it. It's going to come up, and you can see that it is initializing all the jobs which are needed. So, and I will also show how we can navigate this Devika AI. This is all the setup which we need to do on the local machine if you wanted to use this Devika AI open source AI software engineer. Okay, Olama not available, so Devika is up and running. So what is this Olama? Olama is a language model which you can download and install it on your machine, and you can integrate this Llama language, also the large language models, whichever is needed for the business, can be integrated to your Devika AI. So which we are not installing at the moment. Now, after this script execution, you need to open one more terminal, and here let me navigate to Devika. So I'm just executing conda activate Devika. So I'm not using Python commands here because I've got conda, which is very simple for me to execute the commands. I've executed this one, and I'll go to this cd space UI, and here you execute bun run dev. So this is going to give the local host. Okay, just use this one, control and then click. If it is Mac, just command plus click. It is going to launch a UI something like this. Okay, or you can just simply copy this URL localhost colon 3000, and I'm going to give it here. Okay, it is going to give like this. Now I'm going to create a new project on this Devika AI, new project. So let me create a project as, let's say, Devika demo. Click on OK. I can give the prompt here. It's going to give a response. However, I need to search the search engine which I need to connect. Click on Google and the language model. So there are multiple language models which are there already in this. For Olamo, it is not there because we did not install any bandlist for that. Now, since we have added this group API key, I'm going with this group mixture. Okay. So I'm just simply typing write a Python project for game of life with UI. Okay. See here, this is the step-by-step process. Yeah, see here, it is trying to generate based on the prompt that we have given. So what dimensions and appearance would you like for game of life grid? So I can say the basic, let's see what it's going to give. And see here, all the inputs have been considered. It is generating, and you can observe the logo as well. It is generating the steps, and that can be used. Okay, whenever is needed, it can search the internet as well. See here, it is going to this internet, and it is clearly saying that browsing the web right now. Okay, see here, conveys the game of life. So it means this Devika AI open source tool which we have configured has been integrated with internet as well, along with the search engine and also along with the language models. You can use this Devika AI tool, which is which is the competitor of Devin AI. Okay, now this has got implemented. It means the project has got generated along with the steps. If I want to execute that project, so let me navigate to this data and here the projects, and you can see the game of life.py is the script which has got executed. So why I'm using this game of life is the first test that Devin AI was done is based on this game of life. So I wanted to compare it with this Devika AI also with this game of life. So you can execute this game of life.py project and you can see how that UI has got generated using this. Okay. Now let me execute one more terminal here. So I'll go to this cd space data. Okay. So this is cd Devika demo. Where is this exactly? Yeah. So it is under cd space Devika. And then I'm going with this cd space projects. It is under data, cd space projects. And then I'm going to execute Python main.py. That is that projects. Okay, so I need to navigate it through game of life, is it? 1 second. Okay, I think there is one more folder, cd space Devika table. Yeah, here it is. So Python main.py, and I have got this launched. So which is the game of life which I have asked this Devika AI to create for me to test it. So if I click on this start, it is not giving anything. Okay, so now let me try to execute Python gameoflife.py, and then I'm just giving, okay, so this is giving me this. However, the required data is not coming up. Maybe the prompts which I've given is not up to the mark, or the step-by-step plan which has got generated is also not up to the mark, it seems. However, so it has generated something based on the inputs which we have given, and we have tried to configure a game of life with this Devika AI. So similarly, you can see here agent has completed the task. So let's say I want a kind of Terraform script to deploy Azure AI Studio in Azure Cloud Platform. So I'm just typing this one and see what output is it's going to give. So yeah, as soon as I give the prompt to write a script or write a Terraform script for AI Studio deployment in Azure Platform, it is saying that it is not a DevOps engineer and it is specialized in AI, and it is recommending to consult a DevOps engineer or searching for a tutorial on the topic to get started. So this is not having the capability to write the script. So let me try to create a kind of different script, write a Python script, or I'll just write a Terraform script itself to deploy a VM in Azure platform. And let's see what this command is going to give based on the input that we have generated. Okay, so it is saying that, sure, I can help you with writing a basic Terraform script to deploy a VM in Azure. So this is a kind of basic, it's very, very basic, right? It did not know that Terraform code, it seems. However, we can still integrate with multiple language models where we can use for the generation of the code. Okay, let me write a Python script for calculator UI. So let's see what it's going to come up. Sure, I can help you with Python script for calculator user interface. I recommend using tkinter for a simple and easy to use GUI. So it is a kind of service which we need to use. See here how we need to execute. Okay, run the calculator.py script, perform calculations using digits operations, and the is equal to button. Clear the calculator by clicking on the C button. So let's try to execute this project because we have just created this one. Now let me close this one here. So where is that calculator project? Yeah, here it is. Python calculator.py, and I have got the calculator launched here. Let's say 9 plus 9 is equal to, and you can see the output which is giving in the backend. So I need to write a script where it has to show clearly, so that which will be easy for me to configure or to use as an end user this kind of user interface, right? I don't know how to write a code. I don't know basics also in that code, but still I'm able to generate a calculator user interface using this Devika AI. So let me try to give, let's say, a 10 plus 10. You can see that in the backend it is happening 10 plus 10, which is 20. If I maximize, still it is coming the same. So this kind of projects you can generate using this Devika.ai. So in real time, as it is still in the beginning phase, in real time, you're going to see the revolutionary developments which you can use it for the business using this open source AI tools like Devika AI and Devin AI. If you like this demo, Please subscribe and share. Thanks for watching this video.